People always ask me how I stay motivated. It's one of the most common questions I get. Whether I'm speaking at an event, answering messages online, or just talking to someone struggling to find their own drive. They want to know the secret, the hack, the shortcut, a magic formula to flip a switch and suddenly feel fired up every day. But motivation isn't something you can summon out of thin air. It's not a button you press or a pill you swallow. It's not about those quick hits of dopamine from likes, comments, or someone telling you good job. That's surface level and fleeting. The real work, the work that changes you, is the work nobody sees. It's the hours spent grinding alone, when nobody's watching, nobody's cheering, and most people think motivation is about feeling good, about being hyped up by a song, a video, or a speech. They think it's about external energy, about someone or something else lighting a fire under them. But that kind of motivation is temporary. It fades as soon as the music stops or the video ends. The kind of motivation that lasts, the kind that gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. when it's cold and dark, the kind that keeps you going when your body is screaming at you to quit, comes from a much deeper place. It comes from discipline, from commitment, from a relentless pursuit of your goals, even when you don't feel like it. I've spent almost my entire life training by myself. No crowd, no applause, my real problems were never physical. They were all in my head. So I started using every workout, every study session, as a test of my mental toughness. I stopped caring about how I looked. I didn't need six-pack abs. I needed a mind that wouldn't break. Every run, every pull-up, every late-night grind became an experiment. How much pressure could my mind take before it broke? I was building someone who could do anything, no matter how hard, no matter how much it hurt. Even if it meant going through Hell Week 3 times or running on broken legs. That process continued for years. Through every trial, every failure, I built an alter ego, a savage who refused to quit, no matter what. That's what started as a few posts on social media turned into a full confession in Can't Hurt Me. I wanted people to know exactly where I came from and what drives me. But there's something I never talked about before. There are two sides to who I am. If you feel like you're not good enough, if your life feels meaningless, if time is slipping away, you have one option. Recreate yourself in your own mental lab. Find a place where you can be alone with your thoughts and wrestle with who you want to be. If it helps, create an alter ego, someone who can tap into the dark energy inside you and use it as fuel. That's what I did. David Goggins was the scared, broken kid. Goggins the alter ego was I just stopped focusing on what was holding me back and started using pain, rejection, and failure as tools to unlock every ounce of strength and passion I had left. It wasn't fun. I suffered way more than I smiled. But it helped me create that alter ego, powered by the darkest parts of my soul, with one goal: to become the hardest person alive. We all have access to a mental lab, but most people don't even realize it's there. They go through life locked out of their own potential. By the time they reach middle age, the doors are rusted shut. The equipment inside is broken and forgotten. For years, I was locked inside my own lab, trapped by my own limitations. But after a health scare, I realized I'd drifted away from what made me strong. I had to find my way back. And that's the message I want to leave you with. The real work is done in the shadows, when nobody's watching. The real transformation happens when you're alone, facing your own demons, and refusing to quit. That's where you find out who you really are. That's where you become unstoppable. Let's get even more real. Motivation, as most people understand it, is a myth. It's a fleeting feeling, a spark that comes and goes. If you rely on motivation to carry you through the hardest moments of your life, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The truth is, the days when you feel the least motivated are the days that matter most. That's when you have to show up, put in the work, and discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. It's the backbone of every achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation. I've had people tell me, I wish I had your drive. They see the end result, the medals, the books, the speeches, the accomplishments, but they don't see the process. They don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the pain. They don't see the moments when I wanted to quit, when I doubted myself, when I felt like a fraud. They don't see the tears, the frustration, the loneliness. But that's the price you pay for greatness. That's the cost of becoming the best version of yourself. When I was training for my first ultramarathon, I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't a runner. I was overweight, out of shape. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something impossible. The night before the race, I barely slept. My mind was racing with doubts and fears. But when the sun came up, I laced up my shoes and started running. Mile after mile, my body screamed at me to stop. My legs were on fire. My feet were blistered. My lungs were burning. But I kept going. I kept pushing. I kept telling myself, don't stop. Don't quit. Just one more step. And when I crossed that finish line, I realized something powerful. I was capable of so much more than I ever imagined. That's the lesson I want you to take away. You are capable of more than you think. You have reserves of strength, resilience, and determination. You'll never discover your true potential if you're always waiting for someone else to motivate you, to push you, to tell you what to do. You have to become your own hero. You have to be willing to do the hard things, to suffer, to sacrifice, to struggle. That's where growth happens. That's where transformation begins. I know what it's like to feel broken, to feel lost, to feel like you don't belong. I know what it's like to be the underdog, the outsider, the one nobody believes in. I've been there. I've lived it. But I also know what it's like to rise above, to overcome, to defy the odds. And I know that you can do it too. So the next time you find yourself struggling to stay motivated, remember this. Motivation is a luxury. Discipline is a necessity. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect circumstances. Start where you are, with what you have. Take one step, then another, and another. Keep moving forward, no matter how slow, no matter how hard. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build confidence. That's how you build a life you can be proud of. And when you fall, and you will fall, get back up. Dust yourself off. Learn from your mistakes. Use your failures as fuel. Let your setbacks make you stronger, not weaker. Remember that every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. Every success story is built on a foundation of failure, pain, and because at the end of the day, it's not about the medals, the trophies, the accolades. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the person you see in the mirror. It's about the pride you feel when you know you gave everything you had, when you know you didn't quit, when you know you fought for your dreams. That's the real reward. That's the real victory. So don't ask me how I stay motivated. Ask yourself how you can become more disciplined, more resilient, more relentless. Ask yourself how you can build a mindset that refuses to quit no matter what. Ask yourself how you can turn your pain into power, your struggles into strength, your failures into fuel. That's the secret. That's the hack. That's the shortcut. You are tougher than you know. You are capable of achieving greatness if you're willing to do the work. So get up, get after it, and never, ever quit. The journey to greatness is not a straight line. It's a winding road filled with obstacles, setbacks, and detours. But every step you take, every challenge you overcome, every battle you fight, brings you closer to the person you were meant to be. Don't let fear, doubt, or insecurity hold you back. Don't let the opinions of others define your worth. Don't let your past dictate your future. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to rewrite your story. You have the power to become unstoppable. But it starts with a decision to show up, to do the work, to keep going. I run at 2 in the morning, hit the gym when everyone else was asleep, and push through endless sessions with nothing but my own willpower to keep me going. I remember countless nights lacing up my shoes while the world was silent. The only sound my breath and footsteps echoing in empty streets. That's where I learned to generate my own fuel. I don't need anyone to hype me up. I don't need a partner or a coach to keep me accountable. I built my own belief system, brick by brick, in the shadows. People see me now and expect that energy all the time. They want the guy who's always fired up, always intense. But that's not me every single day. I have days when I'm tired, when I don't. That's the real shortcut. So stop waiting for motivation. Start building discipline. Start building resilience. Start building the life you deserve. The world is waiting for you. Your destiny is waiting for you. What I have is the ability to tap into that energy on demand, because I've trained myself to do it. I lived in misery for years. and I had to figure out how to pull myself out alone. That's how I discovered a level of passion and purpose that's hard to describe. It's not about needing anyone else. It's about knowing what I've done, what I've survived, and what I'm capable of. When life gets tough, I don't look for someone to save me. I remind myself of the truth. I remember every dark moment, every time I had to pick up the weight, carry the load, or push through pain with no one there to help. There was no support system, no motivational speeches, no easy way out, just me. I built my own monster in the unseen hours, and that's what carries me through. People are always searching for external validation, that pat on the back, that coach to tell them they're doing great. But you don't need that. You've just been conditioned to think you do. The most powerful weapon you have is your mind. I wasn't born smart. I had to go inward, shut out the noise, and figure out how my own brain worked. Once you do that, once you learn to feed your mind the right thoughts, the right conversations, the right proof of your own resilience, you become unstoppable. It's not about reading a book or watching a video and thinking you've got it all figured out. You have to live it. You have to practice it. You have to put yourself through the fire. That's when you become a beast. That's when you realize there's no finish line, no final victory, just the constant process of becoming. I grew up under toxic stress. My childhood was filled with abuse and chaos. Science tells us that kind of environment rewires your brain, keeps you in a constant state of fight or flight. It's supposed to help you survive danger, but it's no way to live. Studies show that toxic stress can do more damage to a child than diseases like polio or meningitis. It leads to learning problems, social anxiety, and even physical health issues later in life. Depression, heart disease, addiction. Kids raised in homes like mine are more likely to get arrested, more likely to commit crimes. The numbers were stacked against me, but I refused to let them define me. I tried therapy, I tried medication, but none of it stuck. I was still a damaged kid, and the world didn't know how to help kids like me back then. Some teachers gave up on me, but a few saw something different. They realized I needed repetition, patience, and a different approach. Others just wanted me to keep up or get out. I felt trapped, so I started cheating, copying homework, scanning answers, doing whatever I could to survive. It worked for a while. My grades went up, the calls home stopped, but I wasn't learning anything. I was just getting by, taking the easy way out, and digging myself into a deeper hole. When you're the only one of your kind, you're always at... Every time I looked at my life, it felt like the universe was telling me I was born to fail. But I refused to accept that. After the release of Can't Hurt Me, everything changed. Suddenly, people were paying attention. I'd spent decades grinding in the shadows, and now the spotlight was on me. It was disorienting. I was used to being invisible, to doing the work for myself, not for attention. Even in the military, I'd go on my longest runs before anyone else woke up. While others partied or relaxed, I was studying, training, grinding. I wasn't doing it for praise. I was carrying a boulder on my back, just trying to outrun the darkness chasing me. I was terrified that if I stopped, if I let up for even a moment, every time I felt tired or weak, I pictured that version of myself I used to be, the overweight, unhappy guy smiling at me, daring me to quit. I started to see every day as a chance to dig into the negativity in my mind, to study how my thoughts could either work for me or against me. The mind is fragile. Emotions and circumstances can throw you off course if you let them. But I learned to harness that mental energy, to channel it into something productive. I built what I call my mental lab, a place inside myself where I could experiment, test my limits, and transform my weaknesses into strengths. That mental lab was born out of necessity. I realized if I paid attention to my impulses, dropped the shame, and was willing to dissect my own doubts and fears, I could find the strength to change. I started hitting the books hard, training for the ASVAB, spending hours in the gym every day to qualify for Navy SEAL training. Those long workouts and study sessions exposed every weakness I had, my bad habits, my tendency to cut corners, my lack of drive. But the biggest thing that haunted me was my failure in pararescue training. I was in the best shape of my life, but I didn't have the mental strength to finish. I quit when things got tough. That failure followed me everywhere. It was a constant reminder that I needed to get stronger, not just physically, but mentally.